episode 12, Roast and Toast Baseball Radio. The boys are back in town, and we're gonna get going right away with a power rankings and just the top 10 teams. So, who wants to start this conversation? Do we want to start from 10 down or 1 up to 10?
We can start from.
Let's
I
do
feel
one
like
at 10.
yeah, we could do start at 10 or you start at 1. Meech.
We'll start one, and then
Start
we'll,
at one.
we'll divulge. All
We
right.
should do
Agree.
it. All right. Yeah, let's start at 1. Meech, you want to go?
All right, I'll start first. I'll go. Why not? All right. Power rankings. I got Dodgers number 1. The O's are number 2.
Ooh.
Phillies number 3. Braves 4. Yanks 5. Twins 6. Cubs 7. Guardians 8. Padres 9. Brew Crew 10.
I feel like I feel like it's going to be very similar.
We're all gonna have very similar ones.
Yeah, I mean, I got Dodgers at 1 too. I mean, they're the best team in baseball. I know that I'm a Phillies fan too, so like I didn't want to be biased, but I can and I but I as soon as I want to see like the Phillies have the best record, I want to put them at number 1. But I got to put the brakes out a little bit. The Dodgers have the best team for a reason. They're number 1. I got Phillies at 2, Yankees at 3. I feel like Yankees and O's are pretty interchangeable.
Mhm.
3 and 4. I got the Braves at 5. Royals at 6. I like this Royals team. I know we're gonna talk about them a little bit, but I really like this Royals team. Guardians at 7. I have the Cubs at 8, Twins at 9, and they're interchangeable too. I feel like they're very similar teams. And then Brewers at 10.
What about you, Tommy?
I'm gonna be biased. Phillies at 1, of
Hey,
course.
they're allowed to be up there. They're completely valid to be up there. I'm gonna say that.
Hey, I gotta be that guy. 2 is gonna be the Dodgers, just because obviously Schnabel's points, he hit it on the head. Just the best team in baseball, but on paper they're the best team, but right now the Phillies are just better, record like numbers wise is what it is. I'm gonna put the Yankees at 3. I think a lot of people are. I don't think they're quite a 3 yet, personally, but I think in the next couple weeks they're going to shoot up to a 3, just because I think stuff's starting to click for them a little bit. So I think they'll probably be a 3 sooner or later. Then I'm gonna have the Braves 4, Orioles at 5, Cubs 6, Brewers 7, um, then Royals at 8, Twins, then Guardians. That's gonna be mine.
That's fair. I feel like those central teams are like they're pesky, but I also like I have Yankees at 3 too. I think Judge is starting to.
Judge,
We were just
Judge,
talking about
Judge
him.
heard us last week.
Yeah, he heard us talking about him, man. But he's I think he's starting to get in the swing of things. I figured if he was going to get into it would take him a little bit, a couple weeks to get back up to speed. But I mean, I think we all had a very similar 10. I mean, Padres could easily be in there, even though they're under 500. I think Michu had him in,
Yeah, I had him in there.
and they could easily be in there. I think the Twins are a little fraudulent, but I mean, overall they have a good rotation. And now they have Duran back in the back end of the bullpen, and he's the best reliever in baseball, bar maybe Mason Miller. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's going to be very similar top tens, however way you slice it. I have the Royals up a little higher than you guys because I just think that that mixture of that veteran and young talent they have is just it's you don't see it very much else in baseball right now, and they're playing good ball. But yeah, I think the Cubs will shoot up too in a couple weeks. I think they have a really good team, and they just haven't had the consistency at the plate because a lot of injuries and same with the pitching. And now I feel like guys are getting healthy and they're going to shoot back up. They're a great team too. So very similar, I think.
Will, what do you think? What's your top 10?
Yeah,
I'm not
really?
going to give you a top 10, but I'm going to give you a top 3.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
there's teams in there. Me personally, I don't like power rankings.
Yeah, yeah,
I think there's a lot of teams that you rank them and they don't have a chance at winning a World Series, even if they're in the top 10.
yeah.
Or I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
everyone in baseball has a chance in the playoffs, but let's be real. Like
We can split the teams though.
the Guardians
Yeah,
aren't going to win the World Series. The
No.
Twins aren't going to win the World Series. So
no.
I mean, for me, it's Phillies, Dodgers, Orioles, Braves, Yankees. That's
Yeah.
kind of how I see
Like
it.
that 5 is like the only teams that have like a legit shot. Like those are the teams you would look at immediately.
Yeah.
The talent standpoint, it's you see how much talent these teams
Yeah.
had compared to other smaller, not just say market teams, but smaller teams. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
they have the guys.
And I feel like all of our top fives, I think those teams were pretty much in there,
Yeah.
regardless of where we put the teams. But I feel like we
Mhm.
Dodgers or Phillies 1 or 2. So it's like the top five, they're interchangeable. I feel like they're all very similar planes. They all have a good mix of like the veteran and younger talent, and they all have like good at least three guys out of the rotation that are pitching well or are gonna pitch well, and then they have just deep lineups too. And you're not gonna be able to put anybody else in there. I feel like at this point.
So with that being said, like let's kind of move into the Phillies conversation because they have been the best team in baseball so far this year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to think with this team. To me, they are legit World Series contenders. I think they're going to win the East too. But I don't know. I really think they have a legit shot to win it all this year.
Yeah, I feel like this is. I mean, as a Phillies fan, I'm always a little biased. Same with, I mean, me and Tommy are gonna be a little biased on this one. And I mean, coming from a Mets fan too, I think that's just shows how well they actually have played. Because I know it's probably hard for you guys to admit that at times, because we can be annoying and vice versa. But um, yeah, I would have to agree with you. Like out of the last 3 seasons, like 2022 was kind of a shock, though. Obviously, getting the World Series and coming within 2 games of winning a title, like no one had any expectation of that. But now the expectation is there, and you saw the follow up last season, where I mean, come within a couple runs of going back to the World Series. And now this year, like this is the year you have to go for it. And for me, it feels like 2011, where the expectations there, the team is like in their prime, and I just hope that they can live up the expectation in the playoffs. Right now, they've been playing well. Obviously, you have the valid argument of, oh, the easy schedule. That's fair, all fine and good. But obviously, they're going to be playing some better teams, and we'll see how that goes as the season advances. But this is I don't want to see a repeat of 2011 where you get to the playoffs and it just seems like they lose steam. Then after that, it just kind of falls apart. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this team is a lot not better, but I think it is built a little bit better for like next couple seasons as well. They have some younger guys in Bohm, Stott, and Marsh, etc. So I just hope that they can continue living up to the expectation. Obviously, they're not going to play this well all season long, but I think they're gonna win the East too. Just because the Braves, I just don't think have the pitching just keep up all year.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Like to me, they don't match that 2011 team aura. Like they don't.
Probably not.
It's
Yeah.
different. Yeah, it's different.
Just a different. Yeah, I think it's just built different. I think the 2011 team had, we had the big four guys. You had Utley, Howard, Rollins, and you had Worth, and then a couple other guys in the outfield. But like, and then
Banez.
Ibanez, I think he was still there, right?
Yeah.
Hunter
No,
Pence,
Ibanez was the
Hunter Pence
Yankee in
was on that
2011.
team. Oh
He's
yeah,
on
yeah,
Yankees
he
in
was gone.
2011. That's
That's
fun.
soon.
Hunter
Mhm.
Pence was on that team.
Oh shit.
And then obviously you had the three aces, and I mean that team was obviously great, but yeah, you had to. I feel like that team was more top heavy. I know Carlos Ruiz, I think, had a pretty good year that year, but like names aside, like they're very similar teams, very similar
Oh,
expectations, and obviously the World Series expectation is there. Whether they do it or not, obviously, is in the cards, but they need to stay healthy. That's the bottom line.
I
Yeah,
was
young
wrong.
guys.
Ibanez was a Philly
He
in
was.
2011, and then was a Yankee in 2012. So
Yeah,
that's
that
just
was his
quick
last
on
year.
that. But yeah,
uh, Fair. I mean, young guys are stepping up too. Like
Yeah,
Schnabel said, like it's Alec Boehm is leading the team in RBIs, OBP, and hits.
yeah.
Bryce Harper's leading the team in home runs, and Trey Turner, who has not been playing for like a week, still leads the team in batting average.
He's
Like that's
he's going to, yeah.
like all this stuff's like clicking for us and like about fucking time right now. And like to your point about the easy schedule, like, but you still have to win those games.
Yeah,
Like, how
exactly.
many times have we seen like, oh, we have an easy schedule for the Phillies or even the Mets in this case, and then they just like shit the bed and go on a skid, and we're like, dude, what the fuck's going on? Like,
Or
as
they
shitty
trade.
as it is too, like Bryson Stott doing well, Brandon Marsh is doing very well right now. He's starting to find it,
Hmm.
and Nick Castellanos isn't even really hitting yet.
No.
And I'm
yeah,
no
I was going to say something like that
mathematician,
though.
but I think he's going to figure it out after the All Star break. And
Yeah, I don't
Johan
think
Rojas is actually kind of hitting too.
he's been hitting, yeah, decently well. Yeah, I mean, it's just a mixture of the veteran talent that is finally. I feel like everyone's kind of hitting on all cylinders. And the 2 seasons ago, where you had like Keith Hernandez in the booth talking about, oh, like Phillies they're not serious on defense, which was honestly probably true. But since then, I feel like they've done a great job of shoring up the positions. Alec Boehm is not a slouch at third base anymore. You got Sosa, who can come in and play at basically any position in the infield, And then Whit Merrifield could come in and play decent infield and even outfield if you need to. I mean,
He's hitting below his body weight.
exactly. And I
Sucks
don't
right now.
expect him to do that, but hey, I don't want
Yeah.
him on the field anyway. Like if Trey's is healthy, he's not gonna be on the field anyway. I
I
saw
know.
Trey was sprinting today, and I saw him in the outfield, so he'll be back. Hopefully, I know there's no official timetable, but the bottom line is they need to stay healthy,
Yeah.
and it's so difficult to
It's
do.
health and consistency. That's what I was gonna say.
Exactly.
It's getting guys like Castellanos to consistently play how he should be. It's getting even like not even just with Merrifield, but like even getting when guys are healthy. When you see Harper, because I know he was like weird injuries past few days too. Guys staying healthy, staying consistent. It's
Yeah.
the time frame of where you are, where you're given, who these primes are. Harper is right now in that prime age of his career. He's hitting that 30, 29 age mark where
Yeah.
guys start hitting their potential. So
He's older than that now, but yeah.
I mean,
Well,
even the
that's-
pitching too is doing really, really well for us. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just from yesterday and before with Wheeler had thrown a complete or Ranger thrown a complete game. Did Wheeler throw one too? Or the
Nola did. Nola did.
Nola did, but didn't Wheeler do like the
Oh,
no hitter or something?
he had
uh
something. I forget.
Noel has like 6 no hittings
So
yesterday or something.
for
Yeah.
me, for me with the Phillies, I think right as you guys are saying, like what makes a difference between this year's team and previous years is Stott and Bohm and Marsh there as well, but not as much. Those are the difference makers because you need like your second tier guys to have career years to
Yeah.
really make a dent, right? So like I don't know, just for example, the 20 the 2009 Yankees, like Melky Cabrera had a great year, and I don't know, like some other random dudes had some good
Sophomore
years.
slumps.
2023 Mets had Jeff McNeil win a batting title, and Starling Marte had a great year. Mark
Yeah.
Canha had a great year. You need those second tier
Mhm.
guys to really come through and really be productive. So I
Mhm.
think the Phillies have that. But what concerns me is what are you going to do at the deadline? Because a lot of teams who are really, really good, they don't make that decisive move to shore up whatever tiny weakness they have at the deadline.
So only
And
22
then,
Mets.
right. And then you falter. You could say that about the Dodgers for the past like 4 years.
Mhm.
You have to make that move to just stamp
Yeah.
your foot on the gas pedal and be like, we're going for it all. We're going to win. And yeah, you just need to do that.
Yeah, and then I
Good
think
point.
Dombrowski's he's known for doing that. I think the only thing that I could think of at the deadline would be going for a bullpen arm because they have arms, but they just
Multiple,
been inconsistent.
multiple bullpen
Yeah,
arms.
and then I think MLB.com or somebody picked them as number one bullpen like before the opening.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I thought they're gonna
That's
be.
so stupid.
I was like, that's insane. I mean, they have guys that throw 99 to 100, but Soto's inconsistent. Alvarado, who I love, but he's inconsistent.
Janty
Uh,
Dominguez is hurt.
Dominguez has been incredibly inconsistent. So I mean, you got guys who have great stuff. Kirkring has been actually really good, but he's
Mhm.
what 23. So it's like
Yeah.
you got to expect these higher paid guys making what $10 million a year just to pitch a couple games every week. Like you got to step up and you got to be consistent. That's what's going to make or break this team. Where you've seen I mean, the last 2 years, the bullpen has been one of their
The
stronger.
story.
So if they start to falter, you like getting to July, August, September, where these pitchers are going to have to eat up more and more innings. The starters, what's going to happen in the bullpen or in the postseason? They're going to be gassed. You know, Wheeler and Nola, they're not spring chickens anymore. So that's what kind of gets me nervous. Is
That's
like
the thing. That's the
he's
thing.
going to start eating up
If one of
innings.
those, if one of your big guys goes down,
Yeah.
that's scary
Yeah,
because
Right
that's
now,
that's what sets
yeah.
you apart from the Braves. And right now, the Braves don't have Strider, so you have to like capitalize on this season. To
yeah.
me,
But that's where I guess having Taiwan Walker and Turnbull at the back end. I know Walker hasn't been great, but he's at least serviceable. And then Turnbull had an incredible start to the season, and now it's like, where is he? I know it's a money game. Everyone's looking at the dollar signs, and that's why Walker's pitching. But for me, you got to put the best guy out there every day that's going to help you win. And Turnbull's
I
he
think
was
it's also an innings limit thing with Turnbull
it
because
could
of
be,
his
yeah,
injuries in the past. So you can't just
Mm.
yeah,
put them out there every 5 days with the Tommy
yeah,
John history and stuff. And
Yeah,
he's had
Topper is good
injury
with that
issues
stuff.
before. Right.
yeah.
He's
He's
had the injury issues before Tommy John as well. Because
yeah.
he was decent with the Tigers. It was just
No hitter.
He's always had injuries. Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. I mean, you got that nasty sweeper, but Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's going to be about staying healthy. That's really it. They have the talent. Got to stay healthy.
So let's get to the Royals. Schnabel, you were really singing their praises in the power rankings. Um, yeah, I don't know. What are we thinking here?
I
What's
mean,
the ceiling for this team?
like I said in the power rankings thing, I like how they have a great mix of that veteran presence. Like they have Salvador Perez, who's one of the last, remaining guys from that like the
He
25th.
is the last remaining guy.
Oh yeah, he is, yeah. And he's
Dog.
having a renaissance season. I mean, Salvador Perez is one of the best hitters, not only on the team but in baseball right now.
Future Hall of
Um,
Famer.
oh,
Yes.
we'll see. Yeah,
Hey, that's our Hoff talk.
we could, yeah, we could bring it up. But I
That's a
mean,
good case.
they just have a lot of like, I don't want to say random, but like it seems like some guys that you don't expect it from, like Lugo, ridiculous start right now. He's
Mhm.
6-1 with a 1.66 ERA plus over 245. Absurd. Like he's another guy where it's like you don't have that big velocity, 95 plus, but he has that. I know Will's hurting over here with that Lugo talk, but he's just got that wicked sinker that moves like looks like 2 feet every time he throws it. He's a tough guy to hit, and he's
Wicked
another guy who's just
Sinka.
He has like 12
wicked.
pitches.
I know, and he just
Yeah.
he just throws the kitchen sink at you. And the thing is, like, obviously, how durable will he be? And he's not gonna keep a 2.45 ERA plus up all year,
Right.
but he's been great. But then you worry about the age. He's 34. They got Mike Waka, who's 32. But then you do have Singer, Reagans, Marsh, who are both 27, all 27 or below. So it's like you have that mix of these veteran guys who have been there before and have done that, gotten to playoff appearances. So it's like you got these guys. I feel like that's what you need these veterans in the clubhouse for. Like they are able to teach these younger guys the right way to do it, so to speak. I know I hate those cliches like that, but Singer's been incredible to start the season where you didn't see that the last 2 years where he's been inconsistent, hasn't been able to hit his spots, and he's been great so far. Reagans, who has been really good as well. I know his ERA is above 4, but he's got some wicked stuff, and he's going to be
He's so nasty.
he's going to be great. He'll be
Gross.
fine. And then Alec Marsh, who no one even heard of, who has been solid for them with a sub 3 ERA as well. So the issue though with the Royals is like they are young, right? A lot of the young hitters, they're inexperienced, they haven't done it before. But then you do have Salvador Perez, who's got 8 home runs, 33 RBIs, he's hitting over 325, and he has a OPS plus over 160. So it's like I don't know what to see from this offense. Like it's inconsistent, but they have some guys there and they have a lot of talent. Vinny Pasquantino's another guy who's been consistent this year. Bobby Witt Jr. is obviously an insane future MVP candidate. And then got young guys like Michael Garcia, MJ Melendez, who's been terrible, but he's got that great swing, and I think he's gonna get that back. He's got the power numbers, but he'll get the average back up. Isbell Renfro has been terrible, but he's another guy who's got the pedigree. He'll be fine. He'll get back up to above at least 200 by probably like July. Nelson Velasquez, another guy. It's like they got guys on the team. And that's just what I think is so exciting about them too. Is like it's been like 6, 7 years since they've been relevant.
Mm.
And now you got the star power, you got some veteran talent. Well, I'm curious to see what you guys think about them too, because I know like they're kind of under the radar, but they just keep winning games. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about them in the future in like the next couple months, but they've been consistent so far to start the season.
I mean, yeah, I've always thought they made a great signing in the offseason of Lugo. I mean, I just think I mean, a lot of Mets fans are sour at the Lugo talk. We were never going to give him that start. I'll never be super upset about that. He was never going to get that with us, and honestly, probably would never perform the same way in New York. He is in that same area of lower market, a division that's not as insane with the Mets. I really also like their Michael Walker. They got, like you said, Schnabel, they have the veteran pitching. They have these veterans there. Salvy's also Mike Trout's age, and that will ever always mess me up in the
It's
head
crazy.
because you always think Salvy is like 40 and he's like
Yeah,
32,
he's been
33.
around forever, man.
He's been around forever, but he's been just performing this year and looking really, really good.
Mhm.
Bobby Witt was off the charts to start the year. I want to say slowed down, but he's under 300, but he'll still be back. He'll be hovering 300 all year.
Yeah.
I just think Miguel Garcia has been great too. Like they have guys that actually can perform, and I think they can just continue to stick there. I mean, if you see, I don't even know about the division though. We've already talked about that early on in the year. That division is going to be hard
Yeah,
because
that's the thing.
Twins,
It's a
Guardians.
weaker division, you would think. So it's not actually it's not even weak this year. Like I feel like they have a deep division. Like
Yeah,
even the Tigers, who If the
Mhm.
Tigers had any semblance of offense, they would be at 10 games over 500 right now. But
Yeah.
they literally cannot hit. They just got shut out, like basically almost shut out 2 games in a row by the freaking Marlins, who are like
Mhm.
11-35. So it's like that's a deep division.
Yeah.
So does kind of worry me for the future for the Royals. It's like you got 3, maybe 4 teams trying to make
Yeah,
a playoff spot,
and they don't have a
and
good farm system.
No.
exactly. So it's like they don't have the flexibility to trade a younger prospect to get a bigger name guy at the deadline. So
Yeah,
it's like we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying they win the division, but we can have the conversation.
yeah. Tom, what do
Yeah.
you?
I mean, do you think guys think they're like 1 or 2 trades away from being in a better position? Because like right now, I think they're missing. Like they're not a playoff contending team. One, obviously because of the division they're in, but two, because I don't think they have enough pieces yet
Yeah,
for it, specifically in the starting 9.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
the
with
one
you.
thing. They are weaker. Their hitting is a little weaker. And then they have problems in the bullpen as well. I mean, James McArthur has been inconsistent, but has 10 saves somehow. So, but yeah, like the
I know.
problem would be with the you have 2 big holes right now in Hunter Renfroe, but like I said earlier, he has the pedigree. Like you don't expect Hunter Renfroe to be hitting this freaking poorly all season
Yeah.
long. You would expect him to turn things around. And then you got a couple other holes, but that's the thing though, is will they be able to who will they be able to trade? Who will they be able to go out and get for whatever scraps they have in the farm system? I'm not exactly sure.
The
So
one
that
problem right now in their farm system, I just took a peek. It's like 28th in MLB.
yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's bad.
So
Bad.
that we're not going to talk future because there's no reason to at this point. But
Yeah.
if they want to just get guys, I mean, you'd have to do something where you can get value and see who's hot. Say even like guy like Garcia gets hot and they
Yeah.
think they can get a return that they can even use like some sort of bullpen or some sort of either top prospect that they can use where they see fit
Yeah.
in another infield spot. I think it could work
That's the thing. Is like, do you go after it? Because this is probably Salvi. How many more seasons does Salvi have left? And he's not going to be at
as a catcher. Yeah,
hitting it,
no.
especially yeah. He's we'll see. Like you obviously you can't rely on 2 guys to carry your offense all year. I mean, they have I think only 3 hitters right now with an OPS plus over 100. So it's like you can't rely on all those guys, like just 3 guys. You got to have more people stepping up.
Salvi right now is OPS plus of 164 and
Yeah,
OPS of 936
he's
with 8
nasty.
home runs, 33 RBIs. Just that's sick. And
I
that's
think
sick.
I think being more of a DH now, where he doesn't have to focus on catching, is honestly
Yeah.
helping his hitting. So he's just going up there. He's like, I'm coming to the ballpark every day. I'm thinking about hitting. I'm not thinking about scouting report. I'm not thinking
Mm.
about pitching. I'm not thinking about the other team's hitters. I'm thinking about me going up and hitting the crap out of
Mhm.
the ball, and the results have been uncanny for him. So
Right. Let's move on to the Reds and talk about their struggles because they came in this season as the hot team to pick, like the young up and coming team, along with the Orioles, and they really faltered. So, well, what's kind of going wrong with them?
their offense sucks.
Their offense is horrible.
They can't freaking hit. I think their pitching. They have 4 good starters, like very serviceable starting pitchers. Hunter Green, Ashcraft, Abbott, Lodolo, and even Montas has been serviceable. Actually,
Yeah.
what 5? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 guys. They have
Mm.
one of the best rotations in baseball. The problem, I mean, their bullpen is pretty shit, though. I mean, Alexis Diaz has been terrible, but that's the bullpen, right? You can't just because a team has a below average bullpen doesn't mean you should be this bad. And
And some
look,
injuries too
yeah,
for the
they've had a couple injuries
offense.
here and there, but the only hitter that has been worth anything has been Ellie De La Cruz. Everyone else has been across the board has been bad.
Yeah.
I have a stat that is like only hitter Ellie De La Cruz and Jake Fraley are only 2 hitters hitting above 250. That's
Terrible.
disgusting.
That's
Disgusting.
terrible.
And Jake Fraley is hitting 314, but he has 0 power stats. I think it's 1 home run with like 6 RBIs. So it's like
Oh
he's
my.
just slapping the ball around. So it's like,
Even Ellie's got his own problems too, though.
yeah,
That's the
and Ellie's
thing.
in,
It's
yeah. But like he's a superstar, and I feel like he's so young. I worry about putting all this pressure on him this early.
Mhm.
I that's why I'm surprised the Reds didn't buy in more in the offseason. Like last year, they were 82 and 80. They had all that momentum. People halfway through the season when I think they won like 12 games in a row or something at one point. It's like
Mhm.
all you had to do is go and get. The problem last year was no, they had no arms. They had their pitching staff was terrible, but now it's like now the offense sucks and the pitching staff is good. It's like you should have. I feel like they should have put more emphasis into getting some guys that could study this the starting nine, and they didn't do it. And it's like now you're paying the price. And it's really sad because I expected Reds were one of my favorites in the NL Central this year to go out and maybe win the division, and now it's like they're in the cellar. So it's like I don't
I
know. I don't
mean, they
know.
did spend their money. They spent it on the rotation. They didn't know
Exactly.
that they were gonna have uh who's the kid that played a lot of shortstop? Matt McClain
Oh,
Yeah,
India.
yeah.
gonna get hurt. They didn't know that Noelvi Marte was gonna get popped for
And for PEDs,
Yeah.
yeah.
right. They didn't know that
Carrasco and Strand has been bad. I mean,
right. And Encarnacion Strand hasn't been good.
Well, Benson's been bad too.
yeah, he's been bad too.
Benson's been bad. Who played? Will Friedel got hurt.
Yeah,
Like they have a
Steer
lot
Steer
of
was hurt
people
too,
involved.
and Steer
it's
was
true.
really
Yeah.
good last
And yeah,
year.
McLean was good last year. So yeah, maybe I'm being harsh, but like it just seems like there's too much emphasis. Like the younger players, like you said, McLean, he's a younger player. TJ Friedel's a younger player.
Oh, TJ
Jake
Friedel.
yeah, it's all good. Jake
Yeah.
Fraley, younger player. I mean, Ellie, their best player, younger player. So it's like I feel like it was naive to think that all these young guys, and Encarnacion Strand, he's a young player too. I think it was naive to think that coming into a season where you had these expectations. Even Kirk Herbstreit on Twitter wrote off the Reds like a week ago. He's one of the biggest Reds fans out there. Basically said, I'm not watching them anymore this season. Like, I think it's naive and foolish to put so much stress and emphasis on younger players to come out and then will your team to victories. And now you're seeing it kind of hurt them where you got these guys and they're not, I wouldn't say crumbling. I mean, it's still early in the season. We're barely
No, they're crumbling. If they're 3-10 in May,
that's true. It's bad. But
Bad.
it's like
it's bad.
they're underwater, but they're not. I mean, they're not the Marlins, right? So it's like they can still come back. The Phillies were 7 games under 500 2 seasons ago and went to the World Series. I'm not saying they're going to go to the World Series, but they have the pieces. But I just think it's foolish on the front office to have these expectations for younger players like that.
Well, to me, last year they should have capitalized on what was going on with their team. Like
Yeah.
they could have made a trade and could have really impacted the wild card race down the stretch. I mean, they were in the wild card race
They
down.
were in a straight. It was like June. They were a
Yeah.
huge team
They had that
right
huge
there.
stretch because I think Ellie came up
When
and
Ellie got called up, yeah.
that one game against the Braves, I think he hit the cycle or something, and
Mm-hmm.
that was an insane game. I remember watching that. It was nuts. And like the ballpark was packed. It was like they have all this momentum, but then they just didn't do anything. It sucks for the fans over there. I mean, maybe they'll turn it around. They have young guys they can hit a spark at any point. So it's like maybe I'm being harsh, but we had this expectation for them. So it's tough to see that.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw you guys a curveball right now,
Ooh.
go
Uh-oh.
off notes, and I'm gonna ask you guys, what is one team that you think has underperformed so far this season that has a chance to make some noise later on in the season?
Diamondbacks.
Yeah. That's an easier one, I think. Yeah, they have so much talent.
They just haven't performed this year.
Yeah.
That is an
And
easy answer.
it could just be like a World Series hangover or something. It's a possibility, but
Mhm.
they have too much talent. And yeah, I think they'll turn it around. And especially out there like in the NL West, I think that it's a tough division to be into. You got, some really good teams, obviously the best team in baseball arguably is up there. So it's like they can turn it around, but they can also hit rock bottom. Like they have
Mhm.
some tough teams are competing against for playoff spots. And it's like it can go either way, to be honest. They gotta turn it around though, and they gotta do it quick because it is easy to get buried in a division like that.
Tom, what about you?
What about the Giants? Like, you think they
Ooh.
might have a chance potentially if they start clicking on the right stuff?
I
They
feel
need
like
help.
they
They
have
need
Always
healthy.
possible, yeah. It's
They need
possible.
they need Snell to
Oh,
be back and healthy.
yeah, they need
Yes.
yeah, it's been tough
I
for them
feel like
early.
I just feel like everyone in that lineup is just average.
But
Yeah.
They could get
I mean,
hot though. Like
they can always get
Right,
hot.
that's what I mean.
I mean, they have names though. I mean, Soler, Conforto. I mean,
Solar's been
Estrada's
horrible.
had some good years. I mean, but
Soler's been hitting in some bad luck though
yeah,
too.
and Chapman, who's like, I mean, he's not always been the greatest hitter, but like he's better. He's better than what he's hitting right now. Soler, he's better than what he's hitting right now. I mean,
Conforto just got hurt, I
Conforto's
think,
been
too.
yeah, Conforto just got hurt, yeah. But he was their best hitter before he got hurt. And
Yeah,
then
he
Lamont
was.
Wade, actually Lamont Wade's probably arguably the better hitter. But yeah, Yastrzemski, I mean, you got some guys out here you expect better out of.
Yeah.
So it's like I do feel like you're partially right though, Will. Is like they're just average. Like a lot of their hitters are just like even if they're hitting their best, it's like I'm not worried. Like I'm not going out to San Francisco in a playoff game and I'm worried about their hitters, right?
But let's say what like the thing with the Giants is like in that ballpark, you're not gonna hit for power. Like what made those teams so dangerous in the early 2010s? Like you can make the argument that those teams were very average too, but
Yeah, you can.
they had Buster
Posey
Posey.
was so good.
He was good. Yeah, I mean, I think they relied a lot on their pitching too. Like this year, they're relying on their pitching, but the hitting has been that bad. Where it's like they have, I mean, Webb, Harrison, Hicks, like they've been great so far to start the season, but like the pitching can only pull you so far. You still have to have a semblance of competence on the offense, and they just
Jake
haven't.
DeGrom and the Mets.
Yeah,
Fuck.
it's. I mean, Webb is a perennial Cy Young contender. And look at Jordan Hicks; he's been insane this year. He's dropped his average fastball by like 5 miles an hour, and now he's got a sub 2.5 ERA.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty crazy. Another Cardinals fumble job.
Serious.
I
I
hate
love
them.
I
I
love
hate
to
them.
see it.
They're due devil magic is gone.
It's never bad. Yeah. It's
Can't
never a
tell.
bad thing to see that front office make mistakes because it
The
makes.
devil magic's on you.
Speaking of
But I
Cardinals,
think that's another one. But again, like that's like the catch 22 though. That's the NOS team, and like you have the Dodgers and Padres at the top of that division. So it's like, are they better than the Dodgers and the Padres? I mean, they're obviously not better than the Dodgers, and they're
No.
not better than the
But the
Padres.
Dodgers always
No.
choke.
That's yeah. You got to put that. They
all
gotta have
right,
a
all
stat
right,
out.
Schnabel, what's the team that you think can make some noise?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was with you on the D-backs. I mean, both teams I was with you on. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why I expected this, but I expected the Pirates to be better. I know it's kind of
No, yeah.
and they're
I didn't.
six games under 500. They did the same thing last year.
They're
Last year
not good, dude. Connor Joe is an April merchant.
Paul
He is
Skeens,
an
Paul Skeens, Paul Skeens.
dude. I love Connor Joe though, dude. He's my guy. But I mean, yeah, they just don't hit. The only guy hitting is O'Neal Cruz, who I mean, Connor Joe's hitting
No
almost.
American League teams, really?
I mean, there are American League teams. But I mean, who like are we doing like teams that we expected? We
What
expected.
about the Boston Red Sox?
I think they're. I think
No.
there's some early season emergence right now. I
I don't
saw a stat today
know.
with like 4 starters with a sub 3 ERA,
No, they still the best ERA in baseball.
and
Sorry
they've
for the
the
Sox.
second lowest runs against. That's not going to be there all season.
You know what's a team that I think could turn it around?
Uh-oh.
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
All right, that's enough
Really?
podcast talk.
You like Luis Red Heat
Wrong.
not getting that lineup?
Eh.
But it's seriously, in all seriousness, I think the AL is very top heavy,
Yes,
Mhm.
and the NL is. I don't know if it's that bad. Like everyone's saying, it sucks. I think it's more of the fact that every team is on like a very similar level, besides like the Dodgers, Phillies, and Braves.
yeah. I think I got one for you. Rangers, they're 500 right now.
I was gonna say that too,
They're
but
not gonna be
Doesn't count.
500.
They won the
thing,
World
but
Series.
They're not going to be 500.
doesn't count.
Doesn't
Yeah,
count.
it shouldn't count. But yeah, I mean, I think it's the AL is so top heavy. It's even the Red Sox who are over 500 right now. It's like they have. I don't think they have a chance of making the playoffs. I'm sorry, Red Sox fans.
Rafaela.
I didn't even listen. They
Don't hate us.
Don't hate us. Yeah,
My friends will hate us.
I just
Sorry.
don't think it's realistic for them to be this consistent. Like Cooper Criswell, I think his name's Cooper Criswell, right? That
We
guy's
got to cut it up. We got to
with
cut it up.
sub-C. Yeah. Okay.
But Schnabel doesn't think the Red Sox are real. We talked a lot about the Reds, Royals, and whatever the first thing we talked about, but it was good stuff tonight. So let's get it
The
hot.
Phillies.
Phil's.
Phillies.
Phillies.
Peace out.